Hello, this is the Side Show. I'm Theodore Parker, and today is September 20th, 2022, Tuesday. The temperature around here is about 72 degrees, going up to 88. And through the week, the temperature will go back to what we consider to be hot. And it will officially be fall. Got the mask. Still recommend checking that positivity rate. If it's more than 5% and you're going out to do things, put that mask on. Covered some things yesterday. Today is Tuesday. Today. Over the weekend, this is Hispanic Heritage Month. And I think as I was seeing it advertised, yours is the next story, playing back on the word heritage. Sunday past was Mexican Independence Day. Monday, yesterday, was Soledad O'Brien's birthday, 1966, September 19th. Born of Cuban and Australian parents, she has made a name for herself in broadcast journalism. I've watched her program more than once. And in the course of her career, she has received awards, recognition from both these Hispanic and Black communities. Soledad O'Brien. On the hit parade today, coming out of the news items, number one, I'm only going to do a couple here. New footage confirms fake Trump elector spent hours inside Georgia elections office day it was breached. You know, news items keeps coming back to the election that put Biden in office and Trump out of the White House after serving one 4-year term. So the video reveals for the first time what happened inside the Coffee County Elections Office on January 7th, 2021. The same day, its voting systems are known to have been compromised. Among those seen in the footage is Kathy Latham, a former GOP chairwoman of Coffee County, who was under criminal investigation for posing as a fake elector in 2020. Weather conditions. You know, there was a hurricane in Japan or off the southwestern part of Japan. This time we're talking about Puerto Rico. Hurricane Fiona overwhelms Puerto Rico with flooding, mudslides, power partially restored. Hurricane Fiona smashed through Puerto Rico on Monday with pounding rains and winds that triggered mudslides, catastrophic flooding, and a power outage that swept across the entire island. Hundreds of thousands lacked running water. And this is kind of like a point, although it's not necessarily connected. Puerto Rico was just coming out of bankruptcy, since it is an island, but a part of the United States. I think that was last year. So they clear the books, but Mother Nature jumps in there on them a little bit. The next one, again, related to Trump, but this is kind of a gem because and I snatched it up, because it's full of things that I did not know before I read it on here. So the title of it was 80s Hits and Nuclear Secrets. Security concerns plague Trump's Mar-a-Lago. So it starts. At a certain point in the evening at Mar-a-Lago, the lights go down and the volume goes up, and the proprietor and former President of the United States turns DJ for the night. You never know what's going to be happening with Trump. The Trump playlist is of a certain era when he was a regular clubber in New York. The signature tune is, you got it, Village People's YMCA, alongside The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston, and a few Elton John numbers. And then he finishes with How Great Thou Art by Elvis Presley, which his father, Fred Trump, considered a favorite. So that in and of itself was like, okay, but this is like almost every night now, you know. So in the meantime, while he's doing this, they bring him a laptop and sit at the table, so he DJs these same 10 songs every time. There are guests on the property mingling, you know, and doing what guests do, all right? And unsecured were all these government documents, thousands, which it turned out to be, holding secrets, top secrets, et cetera, right there, for lack of a better expression, accessible to the guest. So, we'll talk a little bit about Mar-a-Lago, which all prompts back to what the FBI was doing and getting those documents back, and lands to question what was Trump's intentions when he brought them to Mar-a-Lago in the first place, because of the nature of the contents. So a little bit about Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago was built in the 1920s for serial heiress Marjorie Merriweather Post. Some of you younger people might not remember Post cereal, Sugar Bear and all that stuff. But I think General Mills acquired them, and so we move on. So it says, I thought it said 58 rooms. Amend that to 58 bedrooms. 58 bedroom palace was described as Spanish, Moorish, Portuguese, and Venetian. The original decor was chosen by a Venetian theatrical designer. So you can imagine that. So Trump bought it in 1985 for $10 million. The 58 bedrooms, an adjoining golf course, and 3 bomb shelters. After a string of bankruptcies, he tried to sell the property in the 1990s by breaking it up and holding on to the main house. But he was blocked by the local planning board there in South Beach, Florida. So his plan B was to turn it into a private club. But some of the interesting facts around that at the time was that they didn't want him to do that either. And the climate, you know, social climate at the time, was that private clubs were not allowing Jews or blacks in their membership. So Trump parlayed all that up publicly in embarrassing fashion until they allowed him to make, and also, of course, made friends amongst the same board members that were vetoing that action until they allowed it based on that. So it wasn't very many blacks that were able to afford $100,000 membership, and most of the Jews had made their money in real estate and clothing. So it was kind of selecting of them, and since the bulk of them were Jews, most of them were Democrats. So there you have it. So now you're down to Mar-a-Lago now. So you got, every time they need people to work, it's usually like 80 or 90 people. So because of the fact that he is a former president, then the staff does have to be vetted. And this all relates back to security for Mar-a-Lago. So I found out the staff is vetted. There's one guy that doesn't do anything but bring Trump a Diet Coke 12 times a day. All right, that's his whole thing. And I already mentioned to you about the woman that posed as um, a Rothschild and got on the golf course, took pictures with him, and all this other kind of stuff. But the point that I didn't bring out or failed to mention was that the staff is paid a little over $11 an hour. And most of them are foreign. It's funny, but not funny. So the FBI and other security agencies are thinking that this is a accessible point, for foreign intelligence agencies to access Mar-a-Lago, ergo, top secrets and government secrets and things of this nature are present. Because somebody at that level would be susceptible to a $200,000 payment. Now, all that being said about the staff, on the other side of the coin, as far as vetting is concerned, as we can see from the example with the woman and the Chinese people, two Chinese women that invaded and got caught and all that kind of stuff, there's no vetting of the memberships. So people that come to the club at the time that he was president could see him, Trump, talking to the Chinese president or Korean president or whoever it was that might be present, just like they were, sitting at the table talking, discussing whatever it was that had to do with the governments and, world affairs. Just like you walk into a restaurant and see people sitting at the table, eating what they ordered. So there was like no, as far as it's described, no separatism for them to have, quote unquote, privacy. It was just available for people walking in and around to see them doing it. So with that scenario in mind, like I say, who's vetting the club members? Security at Mar-a-Lago is definitely being looked at, if not scrutinized, during the period that all these documents were present on the property. And at $11 an hour, $200,000 is a lot of money. Last but not least, health, public health, your health, my health, sexual health, STDs. According to the latest announcement, STDs are up 26% from last year, 2021, specifically in the area of syphilis, which, if left untreated, is fatal. So investigation shows that most of this is related to monkeypox and sex between men and men, which spreads it. And also now there's a correlation to syphilis, and sexually transmitted diseases are up 26%. So, if you've been reluctant in the heterosexual community, that is, then you probably were cautiously correct. And parents talking to their young boys and girls about the birds and the bees can continue to urge suitable caution. Today, Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. This is a sideshow. Don't forget, if you're watching on Facebook, like, comment, and share. If you're viewing this on Google, YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. This is a sideshow with Theodore Parker. That's it. #.